When it comes to tracing complex transactions, graphical tracing tools make the job much easier. In this video, I'm going to show you how to trace Bitcoin transactions using graphical tracing tools. We'll cover Metasleuth, analyzing one case related to stolen funds. Quick side note, this is not an ad for this tool. You can decide for yourself if you need it in your investigations. Metasleuth is a crypto tracking and investigation platform that offers different solutions for cryptocurrency investigators across multiple blockchains. There's a free tier available that allows you to investigate over 13 blockchains. Create a free account on Metasleuth to start your tracing case. All you need is a starting point, an address, transaction hash or domain name. For this tutorial, I'm going to analyze a fraudulent transaction where a user has lost over 2 bitcoins after being phished. We will try to trace the stolen funds to a potential service. Let's insert the related transaction ID. Metasleuth will generate an overview showing the transaction inputs and outputs on each side, indicating the flow with arrows and displaying the exact time step along with the amount of bitcoins transferred in the middle. The 2 inputs on the left were created by the attacker using the victim's wallet. They drained all funds from 2 available addresses, totaling 2.20 bitcoins. On the right side, we can see the attacker's address, where the funds were sent. Let's rename both sides accordingly. Next, we want to trace the attacker's movements. Simply click the plus icon on the right side to reveal where the funds were sent next. The stolen funds were moved to 2 addresses. Since Bitcoin relies on the UTXO model, we know change addresses are involved. Using identification techniques, like comparing address formats, we can assume that the address starting with a 3, like the input address, is the change address. Our goal is to identify the hacker, so we focus on change addresses, because we know the funds returned there are still under the attacker's control. Once the attacker interacts with a service like an exchange, it might be possible, through law enforcement, to get more information about the account holder. Funds sent to a non-change address could be controlled by anyone, possibly innocent parties, or could be an attempt by the hacker to lay false trails. Let's tag the addresses accordingly again. Now, we'll start tracing the funds moved from the change address. Here we see something interesting. The attacker moved funds from their wallet to an address already identified as belonging to Hydra Market, a darknet marketplace. They were probably trying to either buy something illegal or mix the stolen funds. Hydra Marketplace was a Russian darknet market taken down in 2022 by US and German law enforcement. Should we click the plus icon again to follow the funds through Hydra? No, never. This is a big misconception. When funds are deposited into a service like a darknet marketplace or an exchange, control of the funds is given to the service. We can't know what happened to the funds after that. It might be the hacker, it might be someone else, or even a delay of months before further movement. Therefore, we never trace funds through services. We'll dive deeper into this topic later, but for now, let's focus back on the change address. From here, we see 2 outputs. As before, we follow the next change address, typically indicated by the same address format. At the next step, all outputs start with a 3, so the address won't help us much. Instead, we use another clue, small change amounts. Here, the smaller amount is likely the change address. Let's follow it. The funds from the change address were moved to a BC1 address, meaning the attacker moved the remaining funds to a new address without receiving further change. Following this new address, we find that the funds were ultimately moved to Gemini Exchange, totaling 0.07 Bitcoin. Perfect, an identifiable service. As we learned, we do not trace through services. Instead, we gather critical information like the last timestamp, the deposited amount, the last known address, in this case the BC1 address, and the exchange deposit address. With this information, law enforcement could potentially contact the exchange. Again, this is hypothetical and you should always carefully reconsider your options. Metasleuth also allows you to analyze inputs and outputs with one click. By doing this for the last BC1 address, we can see that many inputs were consolidated from different addresses into it. All these addresses belong to the same wallet. We can confirm that by using walletexplorer.com to cluster the two addresses, showing the attacker emptied their wallet and transferred the funds to the exchange. Another interesting observation: the funds sat in the change address for nearly a year before being moved to the exchange. You can compare these two timestamps to see the delay. Okay, that was it for this case. Use those insights you gained here and try tracing your own cryptocurrency transactions. See you in the next video.